Righto, welcome to the PUBG Mobile World Invitational Scrims hosted by 7DIRECTION. It's going to be an absolute ripper of a day. I'm going to be joined by Gangsty. We're going to have so many big teams in tonight. What's your initial thoughts on these teams that we're going to have? It's such a stacked lobby.
I'm excited. It's such a stacked lobby, and it's been a minute since we've seen the world come together to battle it out on all our favorite maps. We've got teams from all over the world here that are going to be warming up for the PMWI East Division, and some teams that we some new teams and some familiar faces as well.
Yeah, so of course we've got BIGETRON Red Aliens in tonight. We've got Reject Academy, Zeus Esports, DS Gaming, Valdis de Murder Esports in there as well. NASR, STALWART Esports, Conquerors, Rad. We got GEEK Fam, Blacklist International, The Myths, PANDA, SCARZ, Faze Clan, and Lakonstra MVP. Now, I guess who are you most excited to see, Gangsy?
I'm excited to see BIGETRON again. It's always good to see that they're an OG team. Last time we had the World League, they came out on top. So be interesting to see how they are. They've had a bit of a shake up with the lineup, so we'll see how that plays out. Zeus Esports, of course. We want to see the boys from
Of course,
Mongolia, from
we
our
want to
very
see
own
the guys from
wildcard
our.
region.
Yeah, we do want to see the guys from our local region,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
originally
yeah.
from our local
We
region.
got a we got a we got a rep wildcard. And yeah, some of these teams I haven't seen in a while. Faze from Thailand. It's gonna be cool to see those boys out there on the battlefield. And some teams that I'm not too familiar with. We've got teams like Rad from Iraq, Blacklist from the Philippines, the Myth from Algeria. It's going to be really interesting to see all these teams from different regions. Just obviously going to be having different metas and different play styles, and seeing out who comes on top.
For sure. So of course we've got a lot of the PWM W teams in from the east. Obviously, we've got a few fill-in teams here, like Lakonstra from EU, Conquerors, I believe, from EU as well. I have seen those guys play a fair bit as well. They're all extremely solid teams that they're definitely going to be able to contend with the other top east teams. So that's going to be some teams to watch. I'm not sure how the ping is going to necessarily affect those guys,
Oh,
but
I was going to say my heart goes out to because obviously we're playing on the Asia server, and yeah, I mean Lakonstra MVP from England. I think it's around midday in England at the moment, so yeah, can't imagine what their ping's going to be like, but I'm sure they'll be able to manage.
well, the World Invitational event, such a great event. They obviously raise a lot of money for charity, or donate a lot of money for charity. I think it's 1.5 million for each region, for obviously East and West, and then obviously there's still a decent prize pool for the teams as well. It's no PMGC, but there's still definitely a lot of money up for grabs. So these teams, I think they're really going to be trying to warm up and hit it hard to represent their countries. But yeah, who else? So DS Gaming, I'm super keen to see how those guys do. Obviously, coming from South Korea, I think they might be a real wild card. And obviously, Blacklist International. I haven't seen a lot of those guys either myself. I'm super keen to see how they obviously smash tonight as well. It's going to be extremely interesting. We are about to get underway in just a few moments' time. But who's your money on for game one? Yanksy, any
Well,
predictions, or you want to hold it back?
it's Miramar. My money's on Zeus. I mean, Sarah's been around the traps for a fair while in these international events, and yeah, it's Japan's always interesting because I know they play on iPads in some of their national tournaments. So you get a lot of their players traditionally have come from iPads, and then jumping from the iPad, which is a large device, to the phone, it's a lot smaller and has a different play style. Uh, we're seeing some new players coming up that are more proficient on the phone. So definitely Reject's going to be one to watch out for. Can see they've got a couple of new players as well in their lineup.
And of course, Zeus. That's as we touched on earlier. They obviously you've played up against Zeus way back in the day as well, in the
Yeah,
wild card region. I wonder.
I've experienced the I've been experiencing Godless and Icy for many years on the receiving end of their laser-like aim.
Mate,
And Zyle is he's obviously one of the best IGLs in the game. Ably as a support, and Ronan, just incredible players.
They definitely are, and in saying that, I was surprised to see Ronan on the lineup there. So quick shout out to Ronan, but yeah, he's definitely obviously he stepped back for a bit of a coaching sort of role and all that kind of stuff. But it's good to see him actually in the lineup. And
You never know.
I think the real unknown for me though today is definitely going to be the Myths. I have not heard a great deal about those guys. So they could be the real wildcard of the mix that we might not know much about, and they might come out swinging for game number one. Of course, it is Scrims. It is the warm up for the PUBG Mobile World Invitational East. We're not far off getting underway. Just about 30 seconds time until we do get this started. So make sure you do stick around while you're waiting. Just make sure you hit that subscribe button, obviously on the 7 Directions channel. And in saying that, if you're keen, make sure you hit the follow on our instas. Obviously, my Insta is official Seki. Ganksy's is official Ganksy on Insta if you do want to get on to that. But we are just about to check out this flight path. We're loading up this plane as we speak. Everyone's getting their shoots at the ready, and this flight path is looking extremely nasty for game one. Let's have a quick look.
Well. That's going to shake things up a little bit. It's it's a little bit off center from the Sosnovka military base all the way up to Staubar. But it does manage to cover all of the islands. It's not one of those flight paths that's just, you know, straight up the top or straight down the bottom. It's going to give people a lot of options.
It is, but
it's not going too close to Pachinki though.
It isn't really, and I guess we're going to see a lot of teams sort of compressing as they try to scramble to find their own locations on the map. So I think it's going to be an extremely difficult jump for a lot of these guys. I think we might see a few teams jumping out early on. In saying that, it looks like we might have another team in there. Who's in 9? So Stalwart, we've got some of the Polar Ace guys in there, which that's going to be interesting to see. Hold on, let's have a quick look. But so it's actually Polar Ace in Stalwart's slot on this one. So that's another
stand-in. Interesting.
That's another team from the EU. Obviously, Caster, I'm a big fan. Obviously, we've got Holes in there as well.
Yeah, Holes.
It does look like we might have Myths taking the fight early on. I'm not 100% sure who we've got underneath it second. It's going to be
Reject Scarlets. They look like they're in a bit of a split. They've got a couple on the Sosnovka Island, and then they've got a few on the other side of the bridge up towards the north. And they're surrounded by Polar A's.
So it looks like we are going to see a northern zone, pretty much centering up around Roshok for game one of the PMWI 7 Direction Scrims. And it looks like we are going to have a couple of teams heading towards Pachinki Gang.
Yeah, we do. We've got Myths up there. Team Myth, and looks like Valdis the Murder's already getting involved in the kill feed also.
So in saying that, Panda's already going in as well, so we might have to jump onto that one, but it does look like it is a mad scramble to get into Pachinki at the moment. We do have a Reflex currently down, and it looks like Farok, unfortunately, is being chased down. Can he manage to avoid? It looks like, unfortunately, these guys...
Without a gun. No loot at all.
He do with the Scar L in hand. 6, obviously trying to push up.
Get the double.
With the beautiful shots coming out from WD. Beautiful shots. It looks like Panda will come out on top. They will come out.
Brilliant there. Just that tiny little angle on the other side of the container. He just jumped over the broken wall. Brilliant gameplay there from Panda. Only losing one player too. And these are the kind of moves these teams want to make. in these scrims. They want to cement these spots for themselves and claim them so that Valdis the Murder is going to think twice about landing there in the PMWI.
Yeah, obviously you don't want to be still sort of contesting your drop spots as you do head into a big tournament. You want to be able to loot up. You don't want to sort of end up getting those surprise knocks right at the start of the match and losing players this early on. So I guess that's where the benefit of having scrims like this, pre-scrims or pre-sort of season, if you will. Yeah. But so it looks like Polar Ace actually is scrambling back out to the south at the moment. They were potentially going to run into another couple of squads. Obviously, we've got Team 4, that's Reject Academy, that are pushed across now to the mainland. Obviously, Phase 1 will be starting to shrink in just a moment.
Faze has made a long rotation. I mean, they landed around just sort of north of that military bridge. They've gone all the way up to Georgia Pole Crates. Nice spot. Or, fairly inside zone. That's going to do them okay. Who have we got up near Severny?
Up near Severny, that is going to be a Blacklist International, I believe. So Blacklist International, they will have Tyra, we've got Clue, we've got Alas, and we've got Aeons. For these guys, they're going to have a nice easy loot on. It's going to be no...
Yeah, they've got a fair chunk of the circle to themselves as well, especially if zone keeps trending north, shifting towards that northern river. And if it ends up on that other side of the river in the late game, they can just sit on those ridge lines across from Roshok and clean up.
They definitely can. Obviously, Lakonstra MVP, they have dropped over to Lipovka. That's their normal drop spot. I've casted those guys quite a few times. They're obviously always very enjoyable to watch. And usually they're sort of, in saying that, they end up contesting there a hell of a lot. It does look like we might see the guys from Reject still continuing to move on further to the west side. They probably will avoid SCARZ in this instance, but a lot of teams are now trying to migrate towards the centre zone of Phase 1.
Zeus heading centre zone now. Now Zeus have 2 drop spots, South Georgia Pole and Shelter. Now Zeus will change their drops depending on the flight path on Erangel. So because we had such a east flight path, they've decided to go Shelter instead of South George. But if that flight path was mirrored on the other side of the map, they'd be fighting Faze right now in South George. So yeah, it would have been interesting to see if those 2 teams landed near each other. But they're heading centre on pretty early.
So Team 11, I'm not 100% sure that this is right. We've got Luxa in, we've got Armed Malloy, Vitamin, and Pider's Vida. It's a pretty interesting name. So the one I did want to sort of highlight too was Faze. Obviously we've got Corpaics, we've got Victoria's, Tonic, and MR5 in for these guys. They're going to be, I feel like they're going to be a team to watch in this
yeah,
match.
I want to keep my eye on Faze. Obviously, Faze as a brand is incredibly well known across a variety of games, and they've jumped into PUBG Mobile. They picked up the old EVOS Burnout lineup with Bullshark, but it looks like they've got a few new crew on board. So yeah, I'm keen to see how they do, because I haven't seen a whole lot of this team, but I've always been a fan of the original EVOS's gameplay.
It's obviously GEEK fam pushing into Ruins for the time being. Does look like Panda might end up with some company in Roshok. Obviously, we did have the other guys from Team 11.
Oh yeah, it's getting busy around Roshok.
And I guess now's the time, though, where you make the gamble, as in, do you go to that northern side of the river, or do you go to the south? Obviously, you don't have to sort of fully commit it. It's probably ideal to be on a location that's obviously very central to that riverside, but I feel like if that zone goes north, a lot of teams are going to be scrambling. We're going to see a lot of blood coming out in the early stages.
Yeah, positioning is key in the early game. It's definitely going to help these teams out if they play their cards right early.
They are pushing hard here. Does look like Linear obviously trying to hold back Peter's Vida, but unable to get a knock as yet. So Linear now getting tagged up from the rear side. We'll need to duck in to cover. Obviously, This spectator's going to be a little bit to get used to. My apologies. Obviously, we've had some changes. We'll try our best to keep a good coverage. It does look like Zeus, though. They are going up against Uni, so Uni looking to get a couple more kills as well. So Rolkus, he's trying to take down Peter's Vitter for the time B. Does have the use in hand. Saying that's a bit of a tunnel position. Where is it at the moment? If Peter's Vitter does push back, it could take him down, but it will take him down anyway. Rolkus will be confirmed. That's going to leave Panda with just 2 left standing. Righto, so Panda in a little bit of trouble. And of course, Team 11, they are now going to have, obviously, that one kill to the name. But in saying that, did Uni actually just finish off Godless and Co from Zeus? I believe so. They're already up to 8 kills. So these guys absolutely smashing in the early stages of Game 1. 8 kills, 39 players left alive. We're still in Phase 2. What a flying start coming out from Uni. So it does look like Blacklist now coming down from the north as a zone is starting to shift back down towards the school area. So a little bit more of a southerly trend. So we won't be heading way up north, but with Blacklist moving on through, it's going to be interesting to see where they do end up. But let's have a quick look at Linear. So Linear at the moment, obviously looking to really take the fight there with that Team 11, but may actually get caught out. Linear, the vehicle is looking pretty toasty and may actually end up running into the hands of Uni. This could be absolutely disastrous for Panda. It is. Linear does get taken down. It's all up to WD now, the last man standing, and looks like he's going to bail on this situation. Let's jump on to Lakonstra MVP, though. So looks like they're going to be going head-to-head with Team 6. That, of course, is going to be DS Gaming, I believe. So that Vitamin now gets taken down. Uni, they're on fire at the moment. They're absolutely slaying. We've got big nades coming out. Saying that, one of the other players from Uni obviously getting 5 kills already. So absolutely murdering the lobby. Will now getting caught out from Lakonstra. Unfortunately, will be taken down by ZZP. So I saw ZZP yesterday absolutely fragging out in some scrims as well. So he's going to be one to watch. So we've got DeSalle getting his snake on for the time being. And does look like DS, they are really looking to finish off Lakonstra here. Sporter will get Alicio. So we've just got Savage left up now. Last man standing. Oh no, Danny still yet to come in. Where is that support coming from? It's a fair way away. Looks like Savage is going to be on that front line while Danny on the back line will put the pressure on. So we're going to see Will, unfortunately, does get finished off there by ZZP. Savage, unfortunately, gets caught out. It's all up to Daddy now. Last one standing with his DP in hand. Unfortunately, he's going to be finished off by Sporter. Lakonstra MVP out in 11th position.
What a shot.
That was insane play coming out from DS, obviously eliminating Lakonstra in 11th. So
yeah, sorry, I've had some technical difficulties. I'm back now. DS Gaming from Korea. Now, like, we've got Uni now pushing up onto. Oh, is that over? That was a squad wipe.
That was a squad wipe again. Look at that. 12 kills already. These guys are on absolute fire. Can they be stopped? Obviously, that's a massive amount of points for game 1. If they can get the chicken dinner, that's 27 points without even getting into what phase 3.
They won't need the chicken dinner.
That's for sure.
With the I'm not entirely sure if we're using a 15-1 point system, but you know, with the point systems they've been using for PMPL, you know, you get 15 kills, you basically got a chicken dinner, and because we see so many teams that kind of just get the 10 points off the third place or the 12 points off the second place, and they're not getting the kills to back it up. And then you get teams like Uni that just come in and frag out and kill, a decent percentage of the lobby, and they're just jumping up the leaderboards based on kill points alone. You know, this point system definitely favors the bold.
It definitely does, and it does look like a GEEK fair. They're set to go head-to-head with Blacklist International in Watertown. You do have Baby. Obviously, on the tower above, it's going to have great sightlines on to Blacklist here. But just trying to cook nades rather than give away that position.
He's got to get it down there quickly, though, before they get in.
The Hunt.
Oh, he's getting aggressive now, going for the push. He's going to have to get this knock without taking too much damage, unfortunately. Miracle gets the job done.
That's going to be a Blacklist.
4 kills. Yeah.
Yeah, Blacklist International out in the 9th position. A zone switches over to the southeastern side. We do have Team 4. That's going to be a reject that are towards centre zone for the other time being. Obviously, yeah, everyone else trying to get their spot inside zone. So a couple of teams coming in fairly late.
They've got the prime real estate at the moment. If zone keeps centering up, they will have teams try and take it from them, but they're looking good. Faze coming in through the north around Yasnaya. Get down to a duo. They're going to have to rotate in, although school is open.
That actually really does surprise me how late Faze are sort of leaving it to push towards centre zone. Lapis under pressure at the moment. Unfortunately, we'll have to push down that hill from SCARZ, from directly above. But yeah, with Faze coming in super late, from what I've seen, generally speaking, they're fairly aggressive team. It does look like they're going to sort of play a little bit safer for this one and try and clean up and go for that chicken dinner as opposed to kills.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see teams like Uni just go ham, get the kills. That's how they build their confidence as a team. And then other teams, maybe this is what FaZe is doing, I don't know. They'll just be like, let's get the chicken dinner no matter what. Just to, put us at the top of the leaderboard for that confidence boost going into the rest of the matches.
So Lapis with the off angle at the moment. Just
outside, they've got Lapis outside of the compound there.
Especially when you've got someone directly above.
Yeah, that's SCARZ at a bit further up the hill in the compound.
We are about to see the next phase, and it looks like we're going to be heading towards Potato Hill.
Potato Hill.
SCARZ get advantage on this zone. Obviously, fairly established around that centre or central sort of position. Doesn't look like they're going to push for that real high ground, though. They're actually pushing down into the lower sort of compound out to the northeast.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to work out for them. I think I would have thought the high ground on Potato Hill would have been the place to be, but those little buildings that they're holding, you can get on the roof, and they do give you some nice angles down the hill.
But you're still definitely fairly vulnerable from above. It does look like DeSalle, unfortunately, it will go down. Faze now coming into play.
With the run over. When you're rolling around in a McLaren, why not?
But Corpax trying to go for that run over, will drop behind Sporter.
Look at that. Okay.
Beautiful work coming out from Corpax. Vittoria's currently down at the moment. MR5 looking to get that revive. So Corpax just holding steady for the time being while he does get a bit of a heal on. Does manage to get back up on his feet, but the third party really now starting to put the pressure on, coming out from a reject. So FaZe are going to have to be fairly careful here as well. They don't suffer at the head.
Starting to see this aggressiveness now. Yeah, it was certainly a way to make an entrance there, flying off the buggy.
So Missile, last one that's standing. MR5 does get dropped. Missile just absolutely lasering MR5 there. And we'll look to get a bit of a heal on, but Big Nade's now coming out. Venturis now firmly in the sights of Missile. Will he spot him out? He does manage to spot him. Venturis does get dropped. That's going to mean Corpax, last one standing. Big Nade's come out. Corpax managed to take down Missile. ZZP now last one standing. It is a 1v1. And it looks like a third party from Lapis from Rejects will manage to finish off the other guys from a DS. So unfortunately taking that early exit out in 8th position.
Yeah, they've really helped out FaZe. FaZe was looking like they could get taken out, although the blue zone could do the trick if they can't get those revives off.
I would say they're still fairly focused on FaZe at the moment. FaZe still just trying to lick their wounds and get back on the
team out there. they've missed the rotation though. They've managed to get in there, although Venturis goes down to the blue.
So it's just going to be core pace. He's going to be the last one standing. That's unfortunate. I guess that's the real risk you do run when you're sort of leaving it late to sort of push in. So no one actually getting this next zone, but it doesn't look like SCARZ in that sort of probably the highest position out of everyone. They are going to be able to rotate to Potato Hill early on and be able to establish themselves there pretty well. We got Polar Ace coming in from the lower side, and it looks like they are just going to chill down on that low side for the time being. How deep will they go in?
Very spread out. I mean, they must realise that there's nobody really in that centre part of the circle at the moment, so they can just pick the best spot. But it's not going to be empty for very long.
That's for sure. With 45 seconds until this next zone does close, there is not a lot of time to get yourself established and into this next zone. So it looks like Uni
now opting to go right to the back of zone. Yeah, they're going to come up. They're going to come up very soon.
So core pace. Oh, just narrowly dodging some bullets there. That could have been the end of Faze.
You can't get knocked. Be careful. He is boosted though, which is handy. MR5 goes down to play zone. GEEK fam get a knock. They're fairly spread out. I think they're only a duo as well.
That was the finish of Panda. So Panda, they were eliminated in 7th position. So Uni, have these guys got an angle as they come in from behind? PIR just about to make that mad dash into zone. It does look like Peace though is going to be trying to hold off on that southern side. Obviously, we've got team 16. That's going to be SCARZ just over that ridgeline. For the
not a lot of cover, you know, around the lower slopes of the hill. Really, it's where is the next shift going to go? Straight onto Lapis.
I'm sure.
I don't think he's got a lot of cover as well.
Regic's going to be quite happy with that. Still, he's smoked up. He's on the lower side of zone, and he's an extremely tough spot to hold for the time being. Obviously, a little bit of cover with that blown vehicle, but Polar Ace, they are now going to be making the move. It's going to be pretty much into core pace. Can he survive the push coming out? They'll know he's there with that vehicle directly there. He's under pressure. Unfortunately, he will be eliminated by Caster. Faze eliminated in 6th position. As we look to see who's going to push in, or be the next one to try and push into the zone.
Down to 5 teams. Looks like SCARZ and Polar Ace are fielding a full complement of 4 players. Scarlet and GEEK fam down to a duo. Uni, are they a trio?
Yes, I believe so. We've got Caster now trying to get on the other front line, still outside of zone, 22 meters. They do need to move forward fairly soon. Obviously, Team 4 Rejects trying to hold them back, but these nades coming out from Caster could be absolutely perfect here. Unfortunately, falling that a little bit too short. Muzzy will get go down outside of play zone.
He went down to play zone, so that doesn't give him the kill point. May actually be able to get revived. Oh, that nade!
Beautiful nade. Caster now into trouble. He does go down. So Polar Ace trying to get into a center zone position on the base of the ridgeline. We do have Team Uni though really struggling to get into zone on this one. It looks like we've just got one player standing, and unfortunately they left alive.
Hole's getting a knock onto one of Scarlet now coming in for the push.
So Miracle forced to fight on their feet as that zone is catching up. Will they be able to get that revive on a baby? No, they won't. SCARZ eliminating them in 4th position. 3 teams now remain. So Duello does manage to get clean up.
Is this a 1v1v1?
Looks like SCARZ has been eliminated. It's going to be a 2v2 if they can get Divine back up.
2. Reject. Going up against... Polar Ace, so we've got Was, Holes, 3 kills. So they've done incredibly well for a European team. You can imagine the ping these guys are on right now playing on Asia server. You've got to take your hats off to this performance.
Definitely, but big nades now starting to get extremely close to reject. Fortunately, it was just a flashbang. But will it be a Reject Academy, or is it going to be Polar Ace that will manage to get themselves up and take the chicken dinner for game one?
They look like they're a little bit closer to the circle, but I don't think it's going to take Reject too long to get in. That was a Molotov, I believe.
So we do have Divine turning into a bit of a bed of snakes at the moment, but it does look like Divine are now looking to get up on his feet, and will he look to take the fight doing so? I really feel like...
he's got a lot of cover there. He can stand up, though.
That's really the thing. I guess when it comes to small circles like this, sometimes fortune favours the brave, and if you can get up in feet and just start slaying, obviously, you can come out at a real advantage rather than getting caught out. Obviously, that location now... It's pretty likely, like Polar Ace, they've got to have a fair indication that there's someone behind it. Like with that position having so much cover, it's obviously the ideal place inside zone.
He's got a read on where Holes is. He's correctly assuming they're both behind vehicles. Holes tagged up a little bit. The vehicle was exposed. He's going to try and explode the vehicles.
Joella with the Tommy
opens the door. That's it.
Holes, unfortunately, is going to be done with the split. And that is going to mean a Reject Academy get the chicken dinner for game number 1 of the PMWI 7D practice scrims, essentially. So, yeah, obviously 6 kills to Reject Academy. Well played. And Polar Ace in second position there as well, with obviously a relatively low kill count. But in saying that, as you mentioned earlier, with the ping being so high, well, I'm assuming so high for those guys, you can't really imagine those guys wanting to sort of get right in amongst it and take a lot of sort of close quarters fights or anything like that. You do want to sort of play more rotations and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, SCARZ obviously making into third position. With Matun getting a 3, you got Cabell with 1. It's a total of 4. So no real high sort of fragging teams, but
2 Japanese teams as well in the top 3. Interesting to see. Haven't always seen Japan, doing well in these international tournaments, but maybe that's changed.
Well, they I feel like Uni's going to be one to watch, and the next match, obviously. The next match is going to be Sandhawk. So Sandhawk, obviously pretty tight match. Uni, they showed they're quite capable when it does come to that sort of CQC.
They looked like they were having a good time.
They did. I feel like they were having
and the kill count does reflect that.
I feel like they were having an absolute ball, especially after starting off in Pachinki. Eliminating Miss, that sort of just snowballed nowhere.
Hey, I wanted to know who went Pachinki, and there you go.
So I wonder.
13 kills.
Yeah, it's such a massive effort. But yeah, obviously you can't go past Rejects Academy getting themselves that chicken dinner. I think coming in,
and they had an uphill battle. I mean, SCARZ was at the top of the mountain. They were at the compound at the bottom. They had to walk up that hill to get that dinner. It wasn't handed to them on a plate.
Definitely, and yeah, obviously they were able to fight their way up with and eliminate SCARZ, and or essentially I think it turned into a little bit of a gatekeeping sort of position where Rejects were able to utilize that zone, I guess, coming their way. And able to get that chicken dinner. I think we are going to have some results coming fairly soon by the sound of that. But obviously, we do have another thing that comes up now with PUBG mobile spectating, which is going to be this screen. Obviously, it's not necessarily in English, but I do have some translations here somewhere. Obviously, I think the first one's going to be damage and kills there. You can see coming out from the player from Uni. WI Scrims. If you haven't already, make sure you do hit that sub button on 7D's YouTube channel. Will switch on out as we get ready for game number 2. So we're going to be going to Sandhawk. Do you have any sort of hopes and dreams as we look to enter the jungle of Sandhawk?
Sandhawk's a bit of a lottery, Becky. It's the zone is a harsh mistress, and we'll see. I mean, maybe there's going to be some hot drop action in boot camp and Painan and probably some of the other parts of the map as well, knowing Sandhawk. But yeah, I'm not too sure who can take it out. It's a hard one to pick. What are your thoughts?
After seeing the showing that come out from Beauty, and I guess Sandhawk being that 4x4 map and obviously very condensed, I really feel like game 2 might be their game. I think we're gonna have some crazy action. Do you think that? I think they'll probably end up going to boot camp. I think they'll probably keep progressing the way they've started and dropping to essentially the hot spots on this one.
Well, if they're following the bacon time drop spot strategy, they might go to Painan, and Painan is actually, in my opinion, a more entertaining drop spot than boot camp. Boot camp tends to take time. You see teams drop there, and then, but it is quite interesting to watch at this level, I must admit. I've seen Zeus have some spectacular fights at boot camp. I think Zeus go boot camp as well, actually. Now that I think of it, and yeah, it's definitely going to be. I want to see them fight early game for sure.
Yeah, I think they sometimes go down sort of a little bit to the southeast as well, sort of, and do a bit of a split loop around from boot camp as well, which is a great spot essentially to be able to sort of rotate from depending on where zone goes, especially when it ends up on sort of that quarry side, which we see all too often. It ends up being a pretty solid spot to push from. It does look like
just before you switch the screens, I had my phone up with Google Translate, and it said that the first number was knockdowns.
First number was knockdowns. Okay.
Yeah, first number was knocks, and the second number I would assume would be kills.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is interesting because the player from Uni didn't have any knockdowns, but he had 7 kills. So either he's very efficient and he's just aiming for knocked players, which is a good strategy, to be honest, because somebody's already done half the work for you, or it's only including knocks where you didn't actually get the confirm.
I guess it must be just including the knocks where you weren't getting the confirm, because a lot of the fights with those guys were essentially just a 4v4, a squad v squad. There was not too many third parties, I believe, coming out. Like we saw the fight happening at Pachinki, obviously. Then we had another one out on the highway towards school, where one team pushed in, and then we had another team that pushed in afterwards as well. So, I guess from my point of view, that's what I think it would be. But yeah, we'll have a quick look at what's happening in the.
Fantastic that the game is giving us this information.
Yeah, we'll have a quick look what's happening in the lobby in 2 seconds. But obviously, game 2, Sandhawk. Sandhawk is definitely my favourite map as well. I guess because you got so much action that does occur, and with these, I think there's teams, a lot of them, it's going to be the case that they haven't really played against each other much. So there is a high chance that we'll see them sort of contesting those spots. Let's have a quick look at some of the teams that we do have. So we've got Valdis in. We've got Reznov from Conquerors. So Conquerors are going to be making showing up in game 2. We'll see Rejects game number 1 winners up in that 4th spot. We've got DS in slot number 6, obviously from South Korea. It does look like Team 11. I should know this. Should know this team. I'm sure they're an EU team. I can't think what the other tag is at the moment for AF. Obviously, yeah, Geek Fam in 12th position, and of course I'll be coming out of Malaysia. Yeah, Blacklist from Philippines. Panda still in this one. We've got SCARZ. We've got Myths. Faze and Lakonstra. So we are just not far off getting underway with game number 2 of the 7 Directions PMWI Scrims. We might take a short break. We'll see you in just a minute or two. Righto, we are back. We're almost ready to get underway, but we also do have some scores to show you before we get into game number 2. So let's have a quick look at those. Righto, so obviously Reject Academy getting that chicken dinner and 21 points in the bag, but he's going to be Unite. That was extremely close behind there with 19. Obviously Polar Ace in a third with 15. And SCARZ obviously in 4th with 14 points. Geek Fam tied up there for 5th or 4th and 5th with 14 as well. And as you can see, we've got in 6th position, it's going to be DS Gaming with 8 points and Faze Clan in 7th with 7. 8th is going to be Panda with 7. But the real story, I guess, was going to be Unite. When you look at their placement points versus kills, are they going to be the all-out aggressors as we enter game number 2? Now, I do know we've got the BTR that's going to be coming in to the mix. They are in the lobby ready to go as well. So it's going to be great to see those guys go up head-to-head.
Yeah, like I said, you know, who needs a chicken dinner when you got 13 kills? It's yeah, they're 2 points. They're 2 points off first place. I mean, excellent job there from Reject Academy. But you can see Pole 8. I mean, they they had a standout performance, especially considering the ping, getting the second place, but they just didn't have the kills. So hopefully teams will can bring up the aggression a little bit, because that's what they're going to need.
So it does look like we've just got Conqueror left to jump in. I believe Reeves was in and out there for a moment. So it shouldn't be too long. Obviously, this is such a massive lobby with Kings, Zaxi, Luxy, and Ryzen in from BTR. And, of course, the gods. Zeus. I see Godless. We've got Xyle and Ably.
Yeah, it's good to see BIGETRON in the house. Ryzen, one of my favourite players, of course, Zaxi and Luxy, the twin, the dot.
Too long until we do get underway. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to get the dub for game number 2. In saying that, we've got the map order around the wrong way. Possibly, it looks like we're going to be heading to Miramar for game 2. That changes the game. And I guess what's your sort of...
I was gonna say, Sanox looking a bit different today, Seki.
I know, it's looking a little bit barren, isn't it?
Someone's been through it with a ride-on lawnmower, and...
Mate, it's global warming.
Someone's turned the sprinklers off. The retic's broken.
It's global warming. It's definitely drawn out a little bit.
Yeah, so Picardo is... we know Zeus Esports like to go Monte Nuevo. I do believe Bigetron like to go to Picardo. Will they be challenged there?
Well, with Unite being so aggressive, actually, I think it might be United. I think we might be saying that one wrong. My apologies. With the United being so aggressive and dropping to Pachinki, I think that might be a fair indication that we could possibly see a fight at Picardo in the early stages.
They've made a statement in game number 1 that they're not here to muck around. They want those points, regardless of whether they get them through placement or through kills.
Picardo obviously is going to be jumping distance, but it's going to be a fair way as we start off the fly path at Campo Militar, and we're going to be heading all the way down to Monte Nuevo. So it looks like we're going to be fairly northerly focused for game number 1 with Polar Ace, the first to jump.
Yeah, first cab off the rank. They look like they are heading straight down around the Tierra Bronca area. We've got...
going to be Lakonstra MVP dropping to El Azhar. I've seen so many fights happen there with Lakonstra MVP. They are stubborn as hell when it comes to El Azhar.
They like El Azhar. It's a nice town. It's a nice town, especially to fight around. I agree.
I've seen them go like day after day up against teams at like the same team, and they would just continue to take the fight after fight. No one would give in.
Look who we've got heading to Picardo. We've got Faze. I'm pretty sure that's Unite right behind them, United. And we got Valdis the Murder. They're going to be just chilling around San Martin. And also Myth.
So it's looking like we will see some early...
We've possibly got Bigetron landing either to the south of Zeus. Okay, yeah, I want to keep an eye on Bigetron and Zeus for
So we do have, obviously, Hasid and Patron. It's already starting to light up as well. We'll pull up this the map so we can keep a close eye on the other teams that are dropping on to each other. But it does look like Satan will get that first knock. Peter Zvida, unfortunately, does go down. It doesn't look like...
Yeah, we got knocks either side, but AF down on one player, although...
Luxa gonna force to take the
DS.
fight. He's gonna be eliminated. It's Team 11
Most of
taking
them,
it.
I think DS were down. Yeah, they were down to the last player. Missile able to clutch it up there for DS Gaming.
So it does look like BTR dropping around that drill area. But I think we'll switch on over to Picardo just quickly and see what's happening in this general
Picardo's
area.
looking pretty spicy.
It is so the
We
teams.
got Faze. United actually. United's they've opted to go power grid Valdis in Bigetron in the kill feed with SCARZ. SCARZ down near Ladriel. This is a bit of an open fight here. They're just fighting around these ridge lines here between Valdemar and Ladriela.
So it looks like these.
Ryzen doing his best impersonation of a Bush King. He's got the SKS iron sight. Armor level 2.
And the pump. I guess it's not really what you want to be taking into a long-range fight when it comes to Miramar. That's what happens when you drop on areas that don't have a lot of loot. They're in a little bit of trouble.
Ryzen's got a sawn off and a dream. And it looks like SCARZ are looting up. So Bigetron's going to need to get vehicles and get out of here fast. Because SCARZ are definitely out looting them right now. They have lost the players, so they're angry and they're going to want revenge.
That does look like Kumel about to push on up. Running up on this ridge line. About to come in over the high side. On to BTR. This could be disaster for BTR.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in early game. You know, looting around these tiny compounds and not having vehicles either. There's Zuxi, one of the twins who died. He's got level 2 armor, the AKM.
And he does have support though coming in from behind. But there is an off angle now coming in. And it looks like SCARZ are going to come out on top in the early stages. Zuxi unfortunately does get eliminated.
With the M4. Yeah, that's a trade death. I think they've both lost a player each, although it looks like bigger.
But look at the positions coming
down there.
Look at the positions coming out from SCARZ. They've got the nice little love triangle happening around. And two of the other players from BTR trapped. This is going to be such a difficult position for BTR to get out of.
Yeah, this is why I hate landing in these situations. You know, we don't have vehicles, you don't have a lot of loot. Sometimes it's better just to land in a big city.
Now coming out from Luxi. Soul unfortunately getting confirmed as well. But it doesn't look like BTR. They're on the hunt now. The information is being shared. Ryzen on that front line. Kings obviously looking to put the pressure on to Naoto. Big Molly's coming out. Kings forced to flee it back.
That Molotov was crucial, though. Ryzen's able to get the knock with the Tommy.
So SCARZ now in a lot of trouble. It's just Doggy left up on the other top hill. He finds one, though. So what can Doggy do here? And saying that, looks like they're definitely committed to taking this fight. They're not too worried about the other points at this point in time. Looks like Faze. The fight in Picardo now starting to come together as well.
Yeah, we've also got Zeus going toe-to-toe with Blacklist up near. I'm not sure if they're pushing them on the outskirts of Monte Nuevo. Meanwhile, in the arena,
Ooh, Faze just down to Corpaix once again. So we do have Reeves playing with Myths in this one from Conqueror. But unfortunately for Faze, they haven't been able to hold on to Picardo. I feel like I've seen him play some pretty solid games when it does come to Picardo. And so that Myths is only a 3-man squad as well. Mumbles, unfortunately, gets confirmed by Corpaix.
Can he clutch it, though?
Does look like he is in bail mode. So MR5 about to bleed out.
He was going to go try. Look at him just punching the air. He doesn't look happy. Can't imagine their comms right now.
Yeah, I can't imagine him be super polite. But it doesn't look like Blacklist. They did disengage with Zeus and they pushed on through, as you can see, the zone.
Yeah, it looks like Doggy's hightailed it up to the north away from Bigetron. Got Circle 1 now closing in. Unite sitting dead center up there around that power grid area.
They've got a nice split as well. They're going to be able to get a lot of information on all the teams that are sort of pushing in their rotations where they really do end up from that high ground position. Obviously, they're probably a little bit more vulnerable from the northern side, but from teams coming from the south, I think they're going to have a pretty good idea where they are going to be able to rotate. And if it goes to the south, obviously, it's not going to be a too hard a rotation for those guys anyway, having all that information down the south. So Corpace just still kicking around in Picato for the time being, still just flying the flag for Faze. Surprising to see Geek Fam as well at the moment doing a fair split.
Yeah, they're up there near Unite. I was just going to say Zeus have lost Zyle early game. So he is their IGL. It's not always the worst player to lose the IGL, because then, you know, they're in that spectate mode where they can switch from player to player and you know, just give that over the shoulder advice directly to the players. It can be helpful. Lakonstra now rotating in to circle. Most teams in circle. Doggy's actually left the circle. He's just trying to keep a low profile. BIGETRON.
I definitely think that was a smart
vehicles.
I definitely think that was a smart move. Obviously, just pulling out of that fight. Obviously, hopefully they might be able to sneak in and get some position points. Obviously,
it wasn't looking good for BIGETRON there for a minute. I was thinking they were going to go out early, but yeah,
I was definitely getting.
It was Hoops. Luxy up there with the AK 3X. That was just fantastic support.
So Faze Corpace now looking to push out of Picato as Phase 2 is just about to show itself. See that blue zone is currently closing. Saying that, Corpace is just sending it at the moment. He's just sending it into Picato. He's like, no, we're going to take this fight.
It's an interesting maneuver there with the Murado. He wants revenge. No, he wants revenge. He's angry.
So we're going to see the zone go down to the southwest for this one. So that's going to send a lot of teams scrambling. Obviously, you've got a couple of teams that had fairly large rotations like Polar 8, Lakonstra MVP from sort of military base and NASR respectively. There's a higher likelihood. Oh, a Corpace unfortunately does get caught out. That's going to be Faze eliminating.
Huge sight lines across the map. Zeus up near power grid.
So you've got Icy that's possibly about to run into some of the Geek Fam that have got the higher ground advantage here. This could be disaster for Icy if Geek Fam do decide to push over, and if Icy ends up taking shots, could be pretty difficult here with essentially being a bit of a fish in a barrel.
I think Zeus Godless getting knocked again. I think that Miracle's coming up behind. He's going to have a brilliant angle there for the confirm does come in.
So Icy,
Ably getting taken out as well. Oh no, Zeus down to one player. Icy, they haven't been performing today. Could this be mind games to try and make the competition think that, you know, Zeus isn't a problem, and then they come out in the main event swinging?
To be honest, I think that's really Zeus's playstyle. I feel like they do that a hell of a lot when it comes to these sort of events, and even towards the start of scrims. I'm not saying like they throw, if that makes sense, but they really look to work out their teams in sort of the first day or so, and then they really sort of start coming out swinging. So I don't think they're necessarily really willing to get up the strats. Like, I know a lot of teams, they won't be really, obviously they're not going to be playing to their fullest potential, but they're not going to be giving away a lot of their strats in these sort of events. So they're just going to see what sort of information they can gather on their opponents over the course of their scrims.
Zeus play the game at a level that's almost beyond our comprehension. You know, like you said, you see them coming in these tournaments, and they don't have to do well at the start, and then towards the end, they've just got everything on lock, everyone figured out, and they're just dominating. And other teams, you see, you know, they're a lot more consistent across the tournament, but Zeus seem to be very adaptable, particularly when you're in a situation like this with so many teams from different countries, different regions around the world, and obviously different play styles. Zeus take the time to learn that and adapt to it, and yeah, they will find the weaknesses where they are.
It looks like Blacklist International getting themselves in a nice spot in towards centre zone. Of BTR now coming in from that southern side.
It's been centre zone for some time. It'll yeah, where's zone going to shift for the late game? You know, are we going to see it head up towards Chumacera, stick around Picardo, or head towards Montenuevo? At the moment, it's just centered on that huge valley between the cities, and there's not a lot of cover there. We can see there's a bit of a poke battle going on between GEEK up there on the hilltop and Valdis de Murder there down in the valley. You can see they're split across the road actually in a couple of compounds.
Remember when like
in the edge.
Remember when like the airdrops used to like be a fair indication of where the zone's going, like way back when in like season 2? It used to be able to predict
clearly
the zone.
That's not the case now.
Definitely not. A zone goes down to the southeastern side.
It's a huge hard shift. I mean, look at the short side of zone. It's bang up against the side of the circle. That's a hard shift if ever I saw one, and it goes straight onto the current top standing team, Reject Academy. Polar Ace also in a good position. Polar Ace is probably in a better position there towards the short side of zone. A lot of teams having to make huge rotations here. Always dangerous on Miramar. Driving through those valleys in vehicles. People on ridge lines able to see you from 4 to 600 meters away. It's look at Icy.
Icy!
He's given his position away.
Oh no!
Oh, he had a good setup there, but unfortunately, Geek Fam.
It's just too much.
Just
obviously a 1v4.
Yeah, Unite. Oh, so, Valdis getting hammered by Blacklist and Unite.
So we do have a last lasers concept out of the vehicle.
What a spray!
Perfect spray.
That was brilliant there. He's got to get that confirmed though before someone else does.
Looks like Blacklist coming out with some brilliant angles on the Valdis. Martin now being suppressed, forced to flee. Looks like they are going to group up.
Down to 1 HP.
But 6 fighting back. Alas does get taken down on the other side. So 6, Martin, last 2 left standing. Will we see Blacklist look to push on this? They've got players down on the other side of Valdis. That could really do for a revive. But Valdis, they are fighting back. STALWART gets taken down. Was that
was
a third party?
No, that wasn't Dick. That was BIGETRON.
Ooh, Luxy does have the body up.
Luxy's found a better scope for his Car 98.
How's the patience at the moment? Waiting for that perfect shot to come out.
He knows he's got to get into the buggy at some point. He knows where the buggy is, but he doesn't know that he's got to heal up. That's what we know.
Beautiful shots coming out from Luxy. A little bit too.
Body shot there.
He did 59 damage.
He was,
and now he's going to get the cleanup. It's going to be the cleanup crew on to Blacklist. Blacklist, they'll lose one with Alas being confirmed.
4 kills for BIGETRON already, and hey, they haven't had an easy game so far, but they're making it work.
So most of the teams grouped up on that northern side, sort of making it seem artificially small, this zone. Especially if that zone hard shifts to the south, it's definitely a potential, and it's going to be some interesting gameplay if that does happen.
You could draw a line across the bottom, and Doggy's got all of it to himself.
So Valdis forcefully across the road. I feel like their vehicles are extremely tagged, and it's going to be very, very vulnerable as they look to push on out. Geek Fam with 1 down as well as Zona does sort of hard shift over to the eastern side. Polar Ace get that zone again. I feel like they've really been a zone magnet on this one with DS now.
Reject Academy, they can make a quick rotation in. Look at those couple of compounds across the road. And I I love seeing circles in this valley, you know, just to the west of Los Leones, but this is going to be brutal, especially if Polar Ice is sitting up there. Look at the...
We're not seeing the aggression that we saw in Game 1 either, which is very, very surprising coming out from United. They come out swinging so hard, but they sort of pulled up the pace a little bit for the time being.
Contra are looking pretty good. They've got an airdrop as well. I wonder what's in that. Could we see an AWM enter the kill feed?
So it doesn't look like this zone is closing, and GEEK fam looking to take the fight. So up against United. So United lose at 1. We're going to see another go down to a play zone fairly shortly, but they are looking to get the gatekeep. Tamat putting a lot of pressure on a GEEK fam. PIR now looking to push in.
And we've got Valdis going up against BIGETRON again. These guys just won't leave each other alone. And they are not letting each other get in a circle. I think BIGETRON just able to get in now. I think maybe Luxy can. Horizon's just healing up in a gatekeep.
So Kings, unfortunately, will be confirmed, but Luxy, yeah, just inside zone. Valdis, are they going to be able to get it in, though? That's the real question here. Can a 6 make it in with Martin? Martin a little bit separated. And it's a downward push on this one. It looks like it could be straight directly into the hands of BTR. Luxy does get spotted, though. 6! Smashes! Luxy, and unfortunately, will to try and get the confirm.
Yeah, there goes BIGETRON's chances. I mean, Ryzen's right next to him, but he's only down to bandages. Circle 5, that zone is going to chunk away his health bar.
And with just bandages left, it is not looking good for BTR at the moment. Unless he can get a knock kill and get some first aid. But as you can see, 6 just used his last first aid with 25 seconds.
He might be able to catch 6. Get a bit of revenge there.
So it's going to be a third party coming out from Rejects that will eliminate them. I think Ryzen's going to suffer the same fate there. He does. Lapis securing yet another kill.
Double. Taking out 2 teams as well.
So Reject in a solid spot, putting a lot of pressure onto a lot of teams on this western side of the map. But United, GEEK fam, still trying to fight their way in the zone as Lakonstra. They push into Polar Ace up on the northern side. Big nades coming out from Will. And they do
this fight is crucial.
He's definitely, it's a real power position in this northern side here. I think the next rotation, big nades coming out. Will goes down to Castle, but Castle's already dropped, so posting off. So
we're seeing a lot of this UMP here. This could be a change.
So Polar Ace just out on the edge of blue at the moment. Looks like United may have eliminated GEEK fam. We're down to 4 teams remaining. We've got Reject, we've got Polar Ace, Lakonstra, and SCARZ have managed to sneak this one in. So Muzzy,
Doggy,
he finished him off.
Still in it.
He is. Lakonstra also eliminated there in 4th position.
Polar Ace, 5 kills. High ground position. They're just outside of zone though. This is going to be tricky. There is a little bit of cover for them if they work their way down the ridge.
They do really need to keep putting the pressure on these teams as we've only got one player currently inside zone.
Yeah, if they let Reject in there, with Reject slowly making their way in. Doggy's definitely a factor here. He could play spoiler if he's able to catch one of Reject from behind.
That's looking like it could really be the case here as well. So one player from Reject, it looks like won't be in their sightlines, but Polar Ice now looking to make their move. They are sending it in towards center zone. Will they be able to hold down this position? No, such a tough spot.
Questionable play here. I don't know if it's a move, but we could be proven wrong. They're just going center zone.
Well, they're doing a 2x2 split.
The high ground. Doggy has entered the chat. He's gotten a knock and a confirm on the Dwello.
So Rejects leaving it fairly late to push in as well with their last 2 players. Twice putting a lot of pressure on. Sara goes down about 50%. Will they be able to blow that vehicle and get the confirm? It's Polar Ace. Look to get the wheels on turning. They push all the way to zone. And and we'll claim that next zone.
From Polar Ice, I would not have expected that to work, but hey, that's
Beautiful nades coming in from Caster. Mate, Caster. OP. But that's going to leave Doggy, the last one standing, for SCARZ.
Hey, yeah, what a stand-up performance from Doggy for SCARZ here. You know, they're currently sitting in third place, you know, losing all the players early game, and Doggy has just made it into the final stages of the game. He could still win it. I mean, he's got the Beryl M762.
So Doggy gives away his position, but he is dodging an absolute hail of gunfire at the moment. Big Nade's now starting to come in fairly close.
The odds are slightly stacked against him in a 1v4 situation.
So Doggy sends it, but unfortunately for SCARZ, it is going to be Polar Ice that will take the chicken dinner for game number 2. I can't help but feel they're going to be looking extremely strong on the scorecards after that one. Let's just get that off. There we go. Beautiful. Righto, so let's have a bit of a review. I'll let you take it away.
Polar Ice, you know, ping doesn't make a difference. Currently, you know, before this game, they were in third position. Chicken dinner. How many kills did they get?
They, points-wise, I think they were in third position with 15. So this is a big
they just got
game.
9 kills and 9 kills in a dinner. I mean, I think we're going to be seeing them in first place. But look, hey, Seki, look at our top 3.
I was about to say, isn't that the same as the ones who, or obviously a different order, but
I'm seeing some consistency here from Polar Ace, SCARZ, second place, and Reject Academy picking up third. So yeah, we'll have to see if this continues into Sandhawk. Definitely going to mix things up.
Yeah, with Polar Ace obviously eliminating Lakonstra MVP in 4th position as well. They definitely turned it up for Murmur. So that's going to mean we got Sandhawk for the next match as well.
They needed to do that too, because Lakonstra, they had the prime position and Polar Ace took it for them. And then when it wasn't the prime position, Circle kind of went down. They probably could have stayed up there on the high ground, but they full sent it down into the valley and took Reject head on. I was shocked when I saw. I was like, God, this can't work. And then it did. I was like, wow, all right, these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah, they obviously saw the opportunity and took it with both hands.
And I think they took Reject by surprise. I don't think Reject was expecting that either.
No, definitely not. It was definitely a big play, but it was a play that paid off. So kudos to Polar Ace. But I think the really interesting one out of this point, obviously we talked about how we thought United were going to be an extremely aggressive team. They managed to pull 5th position in this one, so they have managed to get some points, or placing points, but 0 kills for game 2 after having such a big game in game 1. What was it, 13 kills, I believe? Yeah, 13 kills for game 1, and then down to a 0. It's really, really surprising. I guess switching up some strategies
not
just
as much
worked.
Aggression as we saw, and they didn't hot drop. You know, they didn't land Picardo or land on top of another team and fight early game like they did on Erangel. And yeah, they weren't, you know, they weren't pushing teams. They were focusing more on placement. So they've changed their play style a bit, and kind of like what they were doing in game number 1.
So obviously, Geek Fam out in 6th position there as well, managing to get 6 kills. You got any idea who you think would be the MVP of the match? Do you want to roll a dice? Well, I guess
what the game's going to
tell us. What the game was going to tell us. But
Doggy's won my heart. I mean, you know, what a battler! What a battler! We saw him go up against BIGETRON and survive to tell the tale, and you know, then he's made it all the way to Circle 7, and he's managed to get a kill. I think he took out Duello. He caught Reject from behind, which probably gave Polar Ace a bit of. Oh, but the top one is also assist. Oh, okay. So these are all different. These are all different.
Yeah.
The second one is assist.
Yep.
So Martin had 1 assist, and he's had 3 aids, 361 healing star, and then 1281 survival time. So obviously we're translating Mandarin Chinese. It's just a language that when you translate it to English, it does, you know, there's not a direct
It's
correlation.
not a perfect
You kind of
translate.
have to read between the lines with some of the words.
But Dwas coming in out obviously with some pretty awesome plays as well there for Polar Ace. We might take a quick break. We'll be back very soon with some scores for you guys, and obviously we're back with game number 3 directly after that. So we'll see you guys very soon. Righto, we are back with the overall, or not the overall rankings, it is actually the match rankings for game number 2. Obviously, Polar Ace coming in extremely strong towards the end there, and did manage to get themselves 24 points in the bag. So that's massive, massive points after the other performance they had in game number 1, Gexy.
Big game, yeah. I mean, decent kills and a chicken dinner. That's what you want to see. Yeah, especially after a strong performance in game 1. Well, where are they going to be in the overall rankings? And Reject Academy, they didn't come second in the game, but in the overall, rankings for game number 2, they've come second based off kills. The kills have pushed them over the line.
Yeah, still.
Actually, they didn't even come. They didn't come third either. They came. No, they did come.
Yeah, they did come third. But
They did come third. Yeah, but
yeah, it's still, I guess, fairly even spread when it comes to the kill points too. There's no one that sort of really excelled. Obviously, Polar Ice managing to get 9, but I guess when you get into chicken dinner, generally speaking, that's getting close. It's probably a little bit more than average, but other than that, it's fairly well spread with the kills when you look way back down, even to sort of 10th spot.
There's also, like, I reckon if you added all these kill points up, there's quite a few missing as well. I think like this is actually a low kill game. I think because of that massive hard shift, a lot of players went down to the blue. And there just wasn't the opportunity for teams to have a good old fashioned stand up fight because they were fighting the blue. And I think like in the GEEK, and we saw GEEK and BIGETRON fighting out there on the edge. I think a lot of players just went out to the blue.
Yeah, well, I guess the zone was definitely pushing away from a lot of those teams as it kept going down essentially to the southeastern sort of side. Obviously,
I think that was the last place anyone expected it to go, since that wasn't where anyone was.
Polar Ace called it though, and they did obviously manage to play it out and secure the win, but we're not far off getting underway with game number 3, the third and final match of the 7 Directions PMWI PUBG Mobile World Invitational Scrims. Obviously, we've got mainly Eastern teams. We've actually got a couple of Western teams like Lakonstra. Obviously, Polar Ace, they're from the West, but they're not actually playing in the Western division, I guess, of the World Invitational. But we're not far off getting underway now. We are just getting everyone packing the chutes, and they're all lining up, getting themselves into the plane, ready to take off as we hit the sweaty jungle of Sandhawk, Galaxy. So we'll check out what this flight path's going to be right now.
Sandhawk's always fun. It's this is going to be a riot. Strap yourselves in. We are on the plane over the island. Where do you think Zone's going to go?
It's a tough call, obviously.
I reckon it's going to go up towards Hartin. Hartin. I'll call it now. I reckon it's going to.
I'd like to see that. I think it would be pretty OP if it went up there. I think it'll really throw a spatter in the mix. So it looks like GEEK fam, they're going to be heading up towards.
We've got Myths heading towards Sami for another team.
Does look
he's
like
going to boot camp possibly.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of teams hitting boot camp for this one. So let's.
We've got a fight at Ruins. Let's.
Ruins
is always fun to watch. We got SCARZ. Yeah, we got SCARZ there in close proximity.
And it's going to be Black Sparks.
Sorry,
not
Blacklist
International. So Claire finds 1. Kummel unfortunately does get insta thirsted. And, well, that was short work. SCARZ eliminated by Blacklist International in 16th position.
Well, that's gonna switch things up a little bit. I mean, SCARZ were pretty high up on the leaderboard, and going out early is going to open the door.
And the same thing just happened with Faze. I think they just cleaned up boot camp. It won Faze.
Yeah.
They did manage to get 3 kills.
Boom! That was quick. They lost a player, but did
Team
Blacklist
10.
lose a player there? There's still a few left. It's not over. Not over yet. Still a couple more players. I think that might be.
It's BTR pushing into on that northern side, and there's actually another team that's coming in from the south. Looks like BTR actually managing to connect a few good shots on. And who else?
It's going to be the Bigetron Red Aliens.
So I think that's a random team. Hold on, we've got a couple of. Right, so it's not actually BTR in this one.
That Galaxy Races? Okay.
Could possibly be, yeah.
And Sinister. All right. Okay.
Let's see what happens.
And Ronak as well. Okay. All right. We got a few Indian players in here. It's been a while since I've seen Sinister. I remember he played with Team Galaxy, Team Gravity.
Team Gravity.
Yeah, with Sibo back a few PMCOs ago. We all know Ronak, of course. Ronak, an absolute legend, the Indian pro scene, and play from Galaxy Races as well.
Ooh, confirm comes out from Sinister, so he will claim a kill for the team. Saying that, these guys get a nice spread at the moment. They're actually trying to work their way around at that main building. So it looks like Valdus obviously drumming about around the Paradise. BTR will go to Camp Bravo. DS, they'll be coming down from Cow, so it's fairly likely they'll run into Valdus. But Zone has sent it up fairly nicely just out from the eastern side of Boot Camp. But Faze, still the pig in the middle at the moment.
It's their typical boot. Well, this is more of a typical boot camp fight that we see, where a lot of information being gathered, teams positioning, looking for an angle. A little bit slower than the first couple of fights we saw. I love the Ruins fights. I mean, they're just they're over pretty quickly, but they're fascinating to watch.
So Ronak does manage to get Tonic down. Unfortunately, Tonic looks like maybe confirm MR5 now, looking to get the redeem. Ronak. Oh, it's going to be Act that will manage to find MR5. Corpace. It's definitely got to be the survivor.
Actually from 8-bit.
Yeah. Yep. So Corpaix, no helmet, no worries at the moment. He does have Team 2.
Again, the last remaining player of Faze. He's
Man, I think we need to get a bit of a Destiny's Child out survivor happening. We've got Wizbot.
I'm hearing it.
Oh, straight into action.
Oh, I mean, these Indian players don't mess around.
So Team 2, they'll be going up against Team 15. It seems 15, I believe, might be just down at 2-1 though. Actually finds another one. That's going to be Wizbot that will be found. Will he go for the push? So going for a bit of pre-fire on the doors. Doesn't manage to find shots. Sinister now laying in, waiting on that second story directly above, just waiting for him to peek out. Can't wait for the emulators to get fixed on this one. It's going to be we're not going to know ourselves when it does happen. Obviously, we makes life difficult for everyone to spot it, but we'll see if we can catch as much action for you as we can in the final match.
I can't wait for the BGMI championships. We're not going to know what to do with ourselves. It's just going to be PUBG coming in left, right, and center.
There's
I hear shots off in the distance. I did see Reject up there on the hill. Yeah, so we've got Reject and DS Gaming just on the periphery of boot camp. Looks like Lakonstra have taken a casualty. Daddy's on the ground.
But DS also getting into the other mix.
Duello lasering away with the M416. Confirmed as well.
So DS, they have established a position inside, or essentially it's probably the closest spot to center zone but it can be tough to
this is their
rotate out.
game. This is Reject's game. I mean, they saw the kill feed. They know who went out early.
So Valdis now looking to push in
Valdis
on
and Murder. Yeah, they're looking to enter the fray.
So Martin managed to third person peek on a one, but unfortunately doesn't manage to find the shots. Concept coming in on the other side. We do have 6 trailing and behind at the moment. Huey on that front line going for a bit of a pre-fire FBP mode with the M762.
And I can see Polar Ace in a spot of trouble as well.
So it looks like they're getting caught out on Hartin Hill. And saying that, Rejects, unfortunately, finding a little bit of trouble for themselves as well. Check this one out just quickly. Looks like
Sandrock's just not disappoint. It's always we're just spoiled for choice at the moment with all these battles going on.
It's definitely the case. I guess really...
And 2 of our top teams are...
So
yeah, Reject not in a good position.
No, and obviously Polar Ice coming in from that Hartin Hill. Let's have a quick look at this one. Because obviously Polar Ice, I believe they'd be on top at the moment. So Q Baby, unfortunately down at the moment. We do have, sorry, up at the moment. We've got Sains that's down. And looks like they're actually just looking to camp this one out. Polar Ice will come in over the top. So I might switch on back to boot camp as Valdis continue to push on through.
Valdis are on the warpath. They've come down from Paradise Resort. You know, they're looking refreshed and they're just cleaning up.
The GXR Ross does
onto the I don't know what we're going to call C2 or what's left of them, but they're the Indian Bandits. The Wiz God here just with the Tommy M4. Tommy gun good for this situation. He's got the extended mag on it too, so it's got 50 in the clip on that.
So DS looks like they've managed to regroup a little bit, but Satan possibly about to have a little bit of trouble with Divine directly in front. Satan almost gets caught, but isn't it interesting to see the different meta? We've got everyone using UMPs. So UMPs, I believe, have had a like massive buff in this patch.
Well, I was watching the PEI tournament recently, and I saw a lot of the Chinese teams loving the UMP. You know, they were using it and it was working, and I was wondering, you know, what's different about the UMP, and maybe this is it. You know, it's a bit of a buff, bit more damage. It's very stable.
I think that's it, but I think for if you run the numbers, I believe I was watching good old Bushka's videos the other day, and I think when it comes to the numbers for close quarters combat now, it's pretty much on top. It's definitely right up there.
Down a 1v1 here.
So ZZP.
Hey, he's going to be able to get that first aid. Sarah tagged down to...
Caught out by the third party.
To nothing.
Third party, is that Lakonstra? Well, I'm not sure if it's Valdis or Lakonstra.
Lakonstra. I think it might have been Lakonstra there. They do have 1 kill.
So we've got damn Rude, last one standing now as well for Geek Fam, and unfortunately they're going to be eliminated. Go out in 9th position, so a fairly early exit for those guys.
Polar Ace now, Rejects out, SCARZ is out. Who does that leave? Polar Ace.
Polar Ace at the moment. They have lost Caster though, so they are down to 3-man squad.
4 kills. So it'll be very interesting to see the overall standings after game number 3. I think Polar Ace can do it.
Mate,
just need the kills.
The Cybertruck's already up.
This is the new Cybertruck. Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
Does it have the bulletproof windows? Are they bulletproof yet?
I don't know.
I think during the demonstration they had a few issues, but
just slightly.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't. You know, the steel ball seemed to break it. I don't know what an M416 or an AKM round's going to do to it, but I think it was only rated for handgun.
Yeah, well, it was.
We've got Lakonstra.
I think it might have been a clever marketing strategy. Anyway, that's for sure. So Alicio just laying in wait. He's got a player directly in front, but not taking any shots as yet.
Yeah,
looks like Alicio might be disconnected.
We'll be able to tell what brand backpack he's wearing. That angle there, but yeah, not taking a shot. Very patient.
Extremely patient. I think a little too patient. But look at all those teams.
Almost Zen-like.
Pushing down to the southern side as they look to hunt each other. So we've got Blacklist that'll be coming across from the crossroads sort of area. Valdis finally making their exit from boot camp after cleaning up. They'll be running pretty much head to head into United.
United with the DBS, such a deadly weapon. Its ability for the 2 shots to put anyone on the ground.
So
not the best at range. You have to be quite close for it to work.
But old matey, he was one of the top fraggers, I think, in game number 1 as well. So if anyone's going to be able to use it, he is going to be able to absolutely slay with it. And you can definitely change your fight really quickly with that. But Luxy now starting to come in onto Lakonstra MVP. Old matey, unfortunately, does get caught. It's going to be Concept that will manage to take him down. And United, they will go down to 3. Who else we got there on the front line? So it looks like we will have PIR on the front of the moment that's going to be forced to take the fight with Valdis as they look to go for a big split. Unfortunately, United, they're in a lot of trouble. Peace now, last one standing. Does find Concept, but doesn't manage to get shots on. Unfortunately, will be eliminated by Martin. That will be United going out in 8th. So BTR going in for the push onto Lakonstra MVP. They are on the absolute warpath as Savage goes down as well. So Alicio just
we're
left
seeing
up.
some of the Southeast Asian teams just coming out the gate. BIGETRON 3 kills. Valdis just on a warpath right now.
Liquid in a great spot to put the pressure on to DS Gaming as they look to push out of that compound. But obviously spotting out Valdis in the distance.
He spots out Valdis. Opts not to go for the shots.
Looks like he might try and get himself into a little bit more cover there. But in saying that, you can see we've got the rest of BTR there actually lined up. So when they try to move into this, the next spot for zone, I think they'll be looking to absolutely slaughter Valdis there.
Yeah, they got a marvelous split there. Also keeping eyes on a team in the compound. DS Gaming down. And look at zone, looks pretty empty. It certainly didn't go up to hard tin. It's just centering around the middle of the map.
So it looks like Liquid will start to... no, maybe just get it
Able
disengaged.
to catch Zuxi there.
Right, so it's Luxy, unfortunately, down. Luxy, let's see what... Oh, Luxy goes down as well.
Luxy
Liquid.
as well, the twins are on the ground.
Where's Kings?
Liquid
Right, Kings is with them. Does manage to get one revive, but the nades are now starting to fly in a BTR's direction. They're in a little bit of trouble here. Zuxi goes back and down.
Trouble as the Molotov catches them.
So Kings with his back to the ball at the moment. He's getting spotted out from multiple angles. Will go down. Liquid now, last one standing on the outside of this compound, unable to provide any sort of support from that position.
Valdis is just iron fisting it. I mean, they're just going in as a 4-man on team after team and just using strength in numbers. They're very tight and they're just overpowering it. But Blacklist coming in with the third party now from behind.
So Liquid now starting to come into play. Martin does get taken down, unfortunately, limited straight up.
Going to put him in a bad position, sandwiched between 2 teams.
He's not, I guess it's really going to depend on whether they actually need to rotate out of this compound now. As obviously, we're only in phase 3. They haven't really had to move yet. Unfortunately, Liquid is going to be done. As DS did come in from behind. So BTR eliminated in 7th. So the action is really just here for the time being. If their rotation has put them in a super quiet position, as everyone looks to just send it. And Zone, obviously going way away.
What a hard shift.
I know.
Sandhoff, you've done it again.
Pole Ace in prime position to hold down this
Are
zone.
they short stack? Yeah, they're short-sighted. I think they've won it.
Right, it's a 6. Oh, he's going to go down to a molly. On fire at the moment. Does look like Valdis just trying to hold it back.
Coming back from there. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to make it out. But knock comes out. Refrag comes through. Onset's the last player. He's got the UMP.
Yeah. Party's coming out.
Can he get a double?
Gets to confirm. So
One more to go.
Oh, he's going to get caught.
Got to push this.
Concept.
Boom. Unparalleled. 10
10 kills.
For Concept.
Mate, I think
the murder living up to their name.
I think that's the first time I've seen that little notification come up for the 10 kills. I haven't seen that. I've seen it obviously for 5. That's the first time. Well done to Concept. That's absolutely insane. On fire at the moment. But now it's going to have to contend with DS.
It's an incredible performance there from Valors. The murder is such an aggressive team.
Oh, and unfortunately, meets its demise to ZZP from DS. Valdis, they'll go out in 5th position, but what, they have 14 kills? 13, 14 kills?
Oh, they had a chicken dinner in kills. Definitely, it's going to make a huge difference in the overall standings. But yeah, it's just Stanhock. I mean, there's always some guy behind a rock.
So Alicio obviously disconnected. We'll go out fairly soon. We're down to what essentially will be three active teams anyway. Myths, Polar Ace, and DS. So I think we've got
It's been pretty quiet. They've just been hovering around the edge of zone, just kind of outside of it. They're playing it safe. They probably want to get the dinner, but they've got to go through DS Gaming and Polar Ace as well if they want to get it.
So I think ZZP's location was fairly hurt out there by the guys from Myth. Alicia, unfortunately, finally does go down. It's going to be Lakonstra MVP going out in a 4th position. As Myth, you can see they're fairly focused here, and Zone does go their way. DS now inside Zone, but can they capitalise on that position? ZZP gets spotted. Ramsey absolutely laser him, does manage to take him down, but obviously a Sporter that does manage to get a return knock with Farok going down. That's going to slow any push coming out. So Sporter will look to get that revive as Polar Ace. Now look to send it in to a zone as well. Will they just go in for the hard push? Now is obviously the time after seeing the knocks coming out of the kill feed.
Moment.
So they're getting plenty of information as they do hear the shots now coming out from Myth. But Polar Ace, they're in a 2-1 split. Who we got on the outside? Is it Muzzy? No, it is going to be Holes that's taking the fight with Myths at the moment.
Myths. The QBZ 3x. Interesting choice in the late game.
So Myth's not inside zone yet either.
Some exploratory nades have been thrown out from Polar Ace towards DS Gaming, just seeing if they can catch one.
So Polar Ace. Will they be able to get themselves another chicken dinner and go back to back with the 7DIRECTIONS PMWI East Scrims? The zone who goes back to that northern side. Unfortunately for Myths, they're going to have to push through DS, and that's what they're going to try and do. Sporter now about to contend with Brock. Sporting finds one though. Ramsey is going to go down. As Neela on that back line might be able to provide some support. ZZP does manage to find him. Farok now last one standing, thrown up in the grass. Finds a Dwash, but unfortunately doesn't get shots on, and Muzzy will manage to eliminate Team Myths in 3rd position.
DS Gaming really holding their own there.
They're up to 8 kills as well. Playing an extremely solid game in game number 3. So ZZP, he's got the squad wiper in hand too. Can he manage to pull off the unthinkable in the 2v3 scenario?
If this nade hits one,
he does that untouched. He takes one. Fortunately, he's going to get done from the side. It's all up to Sporter now from a DS. And Muzzy will take the second chicken dinner for Polar Ace.
Back to back.
Well
done.
Well
done to the boys from Polar Ace. Yeah.
7 kills, obviously coming in from Europe. I can't imagine their the ping be entirely awesome either. So extremely well done.
Last time I played on the Europe server from Asia, you know, I wasn't getting chicken dinners in PMWI scrims. I can tell you that. So yeah, they've done incredibly well for themselves.
Yeah, so obviously, Pole Ace, solid game from those guys. Surely they've got to be the top of the leaderboard. We do have, obviously, DS Gaming. They did manage to come in second position on this one, so getting up and getting themselves 8 kills as well. Z3US, as always, very, very OP. Getting 5 kills in this one. We've got Myths in third position, so getting up. Obviously, their rotations really paying off, doing the wide rotations coming in from the southern side. There was really no teams that really had to contend with to the right side.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just going for some placement points.
Lakonstra, obviously saved by Alicio, a little bit disconnected there out in the blue from a super early, or not necessarily super early exit, but I think Alicio ended up managing to somehow grab a couple of extra positions there for Lakonstra, going out in fourth position with Danny getting 1. But I guess the man of the match definitely got to be a Concept with the 10 kills. It was on absolute fire. It was unstoppable. But I think it was DS that did manage to finish him off. Z3US, I believe, unfortunately, just catching me on the open and put a bit of But
a bit of a one-man army Concept in this game. You know, 10 kills. He's had more kills than any other team by himself.
This is true. This is true.
Fairly impressive.
That's very impressive.
Martin and Gooey, you know, they're just picking up the scraps. So getting 14 in total for Valdez. That's over a chicken dinner's worth of points. So great performance for them.
And look, I did see 6 in the kill feed a fair bit. It doesn't look like he did manage to sort of capitalise either, though, which is pretty unfortunate. But Blacklist in 6th position with a total of 6. We've got BTR, of course, going out in 7th position with 4. United going out in 8th position. We've got GEEK Fam going out in 9th with Sanes getting 1. We've got Rejects going out in 10th with 3. Obviously, I think it was Team 2 going out in 11th. Team 10, or yeah, Unknown. We'll call them Team Unknown there in 12th. Faze obviously in 13th with 4. And it does look like we've got SCARZ going in 16th position. So obviously, very, very well done, especially to Pole Ace. Some couple of great games coming out from those guys. It's always a pleasure to watch all of these teams play. I think, will we have scores? I'm not 100% sure on this one. I think we might.
Yeah, we should have some scores up.
Have them coming fairly soon. But let's check out the MVP or from the other match. And I think there's really definitely no surprises there with Concept getting that 10 kills, 1,294 damage. So not necessarily a lot of damage, converting a lot of knocks to kills with 1,294 damage. Obviously, Valmus
and
featured twice. Yeah, Huey as well.
Yeah, I think Gooey was the support.
Yeah, so obviously Val was extremely strong in that match. But Muzzy, I'm surprised by the 2 figures there. I wonder what that actually stands for. That, like, you got 6,389, and then
I'll check it out.
But yeah, Muzzy obviously having a fairly strong game.
The last one's kind of difficult to. So so it says Cake Star is the last one. So like the star of the who won, and then the second number, the 1 is assist. The 6,389 is the distance travelled.
Yep.
1224 is survival time, and the first number 4 is. It says eliminate kills.
Yeah, so kills, yeah. That one makes sense. Nice. So obviously, very, very well done to to Concept. That was insane coming out from Concept with the 10 bomb in such a high skill lobby. You just would not expect to see someone popping off with that many kills. But yeah, obviously I'm Seki as well, and obviously we've been joined by Gangsy. If you haven't already, make sure you do follow our Instas, official Seki and at official Gangsy as well. We'll have the scores coming up for you guys in just a moment or two. But have you got any final thoughts, Gangsy, on the games that we've had after obviously those 3 games?
It was. Look, I was surprised. I to see Polar Ace, a team from Europe, doing so well in Asia is refreshing, and yeah, I'm really keen to see next week. You know, when it all kicks off for the big show with the PMWI East and West. I mean, I'm just keen to see how this plays out. Like we saw teams like Zeus and Bigetron not really show up. That's what they do, you know, like in these scrims, you know, they don't show their hand. But some of these other teams, so especially the European teams, just had incredible performances, which was great to see. I wasn't expecting that.
For sure, and I'm saying that, I think I might actually be casting Lakonstra MVP twice today. If they're, because I'm actually doing like some West scrims later on, so that that might be interesting. It might be like the double dipper Lakonstra MVP. But yeah, we will have the scores coming in just a moment. I don't know that it's going to be any surprises for that number 1 spot though. Polar Ace, such still
Yeah, I'd say
coming.
Polar Ace. Polar Ace just had it in the bag. It was pretty close towards, you know, Erangel and Miramar, but yeah, in that last game.
But how do you think Valdez went, considering like that last game they were really strong, but how does that sort of slot them in after games one and 2? It's definitely going to push them up, but how far up do you reckon they're actually going to be able to get from that? That's the, I guess, my question.
Where were they in game 1?
So game 2, they definitely had a very, very tough match. Does look like game 1 had a tough one as well.
Had, yeah, it's not gonna. It's gonna get them in top 5 maybe.
Yeah, it's definitely going to get them on the top half of the scores, I think, overall. But
Valdez is a team that plays like this, and this is a very short form. You know, 3 games in a row. The way Valdez plays, and if they do this consistently enough in a long form tournament, where you're having, you know, it goes over a week or 2, like you see with PMPL League play, then that play style where you just, you know, having a couple of games here and there where you're just popping off and getting huge kill numbers, that works in that format quite well. But it's a bit of an all or nothing strategy, and when you're only having a few games, you know, if you have 2 games where you go out early because you're just going that hard, then it's not going to pay off. Whereas some of these teams that kind of balance out that aggressiveness with, you know, making smarter decisions on rotations to get the placement points as well, it pays off for them when you don't have as many games.
Yeah, I guess really with the World Invitational being a very, very short format, what is it? Probably, you said, I think it's 4 days, isn't it? So it's probably, what, a max of 20 games? Probably 16 to 20 games. That is an extremely short format, so it's the same. On the same token, it's pretty difficult to sort of be able to pull off that strat. I think the teams that are really consistent are going to be the ones near the top. Obviously, you might get a couple that do manage to pop off and have a few really good games, but if you can't sort of keep that consistency up, I think that's where those teams that just look to get like full on aggressive in your face, take everyone down, I think that's when they're really going to struggle. But yeah, who else do we have that was probably fairly interesting? That overall, I guess Reject, they had a very, very good showing until that final match, but you can't really when you get dropped on at the start, sometimes it's going to happen. It's like a flip of the coin, isn't it? That you might get taken out if you don't manage to get that loot in the early stages. But I guess what other fight happened in game 3 that you thought was pretty interesting, Gaxi?
Definitely big. Just Valdis. There was Unite up on the hill, going up against Valdis, you know, and then Valdis taking out Bigetron, like you know, they swept through boot camp, like they just came out of paradise. Yeah, it's just like Fury. Probably my favorite fights when I watch Sunhawk. Always, if I see teams going ruins, and I said to you at the start, I was like, oh, there's 2 teams in ruins. Click on it now, because you know that fight is not going to last longer than a minute. And yeah, I think that was SCARZ actually there in ruins that went out quite early.
Yeah, which would have been obviously 2 of the top 3, I think, overall after their performances in game one and 2, which made it very interesting. But yeah, we might take a very quick break as we get organised for the other scores. We'll bring them up for you in just a few moments. We'll see you guys on the other side of this short break. Obviously, we pushed it before, but if you haven't already, make sure you do follow 7 Directions on Insta. And also myself, official Seki on Insta, just at official Seki, and the same with Gaxi. So make sure you smash that follow button on all 3 of us, and we'll see you guys on the other side of this break. Righto, we are back with Game 3 results from the 7 Directions PUBG Mobile World Invitational Scrims. Obviously, Polar Ace getting themselves up there with the chicken dinner yet again, and 22 points total in the other bag. Stellar games coming out from Polar Ace. But DS getting right up there as well in second position with 20, tied up with Valdis the Murderer. But clearly, Valdis, so we're going for kills as opposed to the other chicken dinners, Gaxi.
Yeah, it's so obvious the difference it makes. Look at Myth. Myth came third, no kills, and 10 points overall. Aldous came, 6 placement points, and they got double the points of Myth. So huge game there for Valdis. And Blacklist as well. Blacklist International. Like I said at the start, Seki, this is a team from Philippines. Haven't seen a lot of Filipino teams, and great to see these guys come out the gate swinging. They've done brilliantly tonight, and this was a good game for them as well.
Lakonstra MVP in 6th position there with 9. BIGETRON, Red Aliens going out in 7th with 6, and obviously Faze going out in 8th with 5. But I guess that's why I really like Sandhawk probably the most over all the maps. Is like, for me, while they're not necessarily completely visible, I feel like the map itself has got a lot of sort of choke points just within the layout. Like, obviously you got the main one, which is sort of the area that I generally call the crossroads to the south of boot camp, like that hill area. And if teams do look to do want to try and get aggressive, they can really put themselves in positions on those sort of choke points or the points where teams are going to be rotating through, and look to catch them out and take a lot of chicken. Oh, sorry, not a lot of chicken, a lot of kills and all that kind of stuff. But I guess with Valdis, they didn't really take that tack, did they? They sort of really hit with the brute force, pushing all the way into boot camp, Gaxi.
Yeah, it's almost like playing a classic. You land boot camp, and then you clean out boot camp and you push Paradise, or you land Paradise and vice versa. And it's like they landed Paradise and they're like, oh, no one's here. Let's go check out boot camp. Oh, there's a bit of action here. Let's have a go. And they've cleaned boot camp out, and then they've headed up the hill, and they took out Unite up the hill, and they saw, oh, BIGETRON's down the hill. Oh, we'll go clean them up. And eventually Blacklist just got a couple of them, and then they bit off a bit more than they could chew. But hey, not after putting a fair bit of damage into the lobby and picking up 14 kills. But yeah, Polar Ace, so consistent tonight. Like I'm always surprised when a team is consistent, and then they're consistent on Sandhawk, because I just think Sandhawk is such a it's there's no vehicles. Or you do see teams using vehicles here and there, but they don't work as well as they do on Miramar and Erangel. Most teams are rotating on foot, and when Circle's hard shifting as it does, it really puts pressure on a lot of teams. You see a lot of players going down to the blue. So when a team's able to do well on Sandhawk, coming off the back of doing well on Miramar, you're saying, well, what are these guys doing right? They're doing something right.
So we're just about to get the overall results up. Just give me a second. I think that's what everyone's hanging around for. But obviously, thanks everyone for hanging around. And also, while you're at it though, make sure you do hit that sub button on 7 Directions channel, and also mine. Mine is just official sexy official Seki. I think you can probably jump onto Gangster as well if you look up on that one. But let's check.
I'm definitely on YouTube. If you look around, it won't take long to find me. But huge shout out to 7DIRECTIONS for organising tonight's scrims. They've done a great job getting all of these teams together. It's been an excellent scrims and a great warm up for all these teams.
For sure. So clearly, Polar Ace, they were the winners, 61 points. Second is going to be Reject with a 40. DS in third. So managing to sneak their way up into third position there with 33, knocking SCARZ off. No, you went back down to
a lot
fourth.
of kills. Look, 19 kills. So yeah,
when you do,
decider.
I guess when you do like the placement versus kills ratio, they're looking pretty solid, aren't they? So yeah, obviously SCARZ clearly a lot more of a passive play style when you look at the kills versus placement. 22 placement points. That's some solid placement points over 3 games. But obviously United in a 5th position. They had such a strong game in game number 1. I honestly don't know what sort of happened as we went into games 2 and 3. They sort of just flicked the switch and decided, no, we're going to play passive now and practice our
get
rotations.
a single, because they got 13 kills in game 1, right?
Yep.
They didn't get any kills in any of the other games.
Nope. Which
that's bizarre, especially for Darrengool. Like, yeah, I don't know what happened there.
They had that momentum, and then they just sort of said, "No, I'm happy with how we're stopping here." I guess just they just put the foot on the brake, and that was it. But obviously, Geek Fam in 6th position as well with 13. So literally completely tied up with United there. There's no real way to separate that either, with the kills matching up. Lakonstra MVP in 7th position with a 24. We've got Valdis the Murderer in 8th position with 23. The Myths in 9th with 15. Obviously, that last game was a stronger one for those guys. Blacklist International in 10th with 15 also. We do have Faze Clan in 11th with 13. And BIGETRON in 12th with 12. Obviously, they did miss that first match as well. And it is only Scrims, so it's not necessarily a true representation of how they will perform when it does come to the PUBG Mobile World Invitational. And PANDA in 13th position. 14th is going to be Zeus, and 15th will be Riot Esports, and 16th is STALWART. I don't know those last two actually. We did have them.
We didn't see STALWART's. Yeah. Starting team, they didn't show up tonight, but we will be seeing them in the main event.
Yep.
And yeah, similar to BIGETRON, like Zeus. Yeah, this is what they do. Certainly not an indication of how things are going to pan out. I'm really, really keen to see them in the big show. Such a standout team. Well done to Polar Ace. I mean, I didn't see that one coming, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it's unexpected.
Wouldn't have picked an EU team to win Asia Scrims.
Yeah, well, it's definitely unexpected, I guess, for those guys to win. But from everything that I've seen of those guys before, though, they've definitely been a team that can show consistency and be able to adapt to the situation, which we're definitely able to really pull that one off. But I think we're about to close out. Obviously, massive thank you to 7DIRECTIONS for giving both myself, Seki, and Gangsy the chance to obviously cast these scrims. It has been an absolute pleasure. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Once again, the final reminder, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we will see you guys next time on the other side. Right, have a great night, everyone.